Ah, Tiberius, where have you been? So, I haven't seen you for a while. How's the holidays going?
Kind of sucked, actually.
What happened?
Well, first I got COVID.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I had to quarantine, stay away from the family, couldn't go see any movies, just chilling at home alone. Getting over, you can kind of hear it in my voice.
I know, you sound
bit.
like Doc from Back to the Future.
Yeah, hey, Marty! But, I'm just...
Well, so you're better now. That must be good. Anything, it's the ending?
It only got worse.
No. What else happened?
Well, so I've been seeing this, lady that I met online. We're just texting, getting to know each other, talking on the phone. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere in the last few days, I've heard nothing.
She ghosted you.
She's ghosting me. And, I don't know.
Is this somebody I know?
I don't think so. Her name's Betty White.
Betty White?
Yeah.
So, wow, yeah, I haven't heard that one before, so that sucks.
Haven't heard
So
from her.
it can't get any worse than you had COVID, you get ghosted by Betty White. I mean, that's it, right? You can't get any worse than that.
And then I fell into a Sarlacc pit over the weekend.
What are you talking about?
I'm serious. So I thought I was feeling better. I thought I'd go for a walk in the neighborhood. And I decided to take a shortcut through the park. Fell in a Sarlacc pit.
A Sarlacc pit? What?
Spent my whole afternoon trying to get out of that thing. I'm definitely going to call the city of Aurora, let them know that there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's little kids in the neighborhood. You don't want them falling in a Sarlacc pit.
I agree.
Yeah, so we got to take care of that.
Hey,
oh, look at this.
We're on!
Again. Happy
2022!
2022!
Now is our time. We are the cold. Release your mind. Release your mind. Your mind.
Hey, everybody. This is Dave.
And this is JR.
And we are
The Cult Lords.
We're actually celebrating 2022
Woo!
by taking a look back at 2021. And so over the next couple of days, the videos that we're going to put out for you, the shows, will be to review the top things we saw in 2021. This episode to talk about the top 2021 TV shows we saw. And then later this week, you'll see the top movies for 2021.
TV shows.
Let's talk about TV shows that we saw.
TV shows.
Dave,
Oh,
what are
I
we
know.
gonna be
Well,
having?
we're celebrating. This drink is just, no one's pouring it except us.
All right.
A little Veuve Clicquot, for those of you who are familiar with the widow,
Champagne.
as she's known. Champagne, from the region of Champagne. And because it has to, that's the only way, you know that, right? The only way it can be called champagne is it has to be from Champagne.
Oh, really?
And there's the widow herself right there at the top.
Oh.
The Veuve Clicquot. Veuve is widow, by the way, and
Nice.
her last name is Clicquot.
I guess
Famous story.
Normally I would say don't point that at me, but I guess it's got the
Yes,
wiring
there's a
all
reason
around
it has a wiring on it and all that. But, so we're talking what? Top 8 movies of all time? What's the...
No, top 8 TV shows of 2021.
Oh, okay. So, here we go.
Oh, that was a nice pop there.
Smells good, too.
Okay.
It's a tasty beverage. But, what are the requirements of these movies?
So, for both the TV show episode and the movie episode, the TV shows don't necessarily have to come out in 2021. They could have come out earlier, but you had to have seen it for the first time in 2021. Now, of my TV shows, all of my shows came out this year with a season. But when we get to the movie episode,
Sorry, Tiberius.
that's going to be a little bit different. So
All right.
let's look back on 2021, top TV shows that we saw. And I will start with you, Dane. What was the
My number 8 top TV show in 2021. Broadchurch.
Broadchurch.
First, yes, I was going to say.
So Broadchurch.
This is from JR's private wine vault. The
I did
Veuve
I
Clicquot.
did bring the Veuve Clicquot over, yes. So what is Broadchurch? I don't even know what that is.
It is a British detective show. It's really good. It has Olivia Colman and David Tennant, if you might remember him from the Doctor Who, and then she was in The Crown, played the Queen a couple in one of years that they were on. But it's about a murder mystery about a kid that dies. There's 2 seasons of it. The second one It's okay, but the first season is definitely, it's a small, Broadchurch is an area off the coastline up in the northern part of England. Great show, lots of intrigue. It's one of those where it's a highly compressed environment of everybody knows everybody in a small town, and it's like, you know, who did it? Who killed the person?
Where would I find Broadchurch?
It's on Netflix.
It's a Netflix show.
Yeah, Netflix show. Great show. Highly recommend it. And, you know, I don't want to give any away, but very, very one of those where you constantly think it must be him, must be her, must be them, you know, and then it's like...
A whodunit.
It's a whodunit.
Okay.
Big surprise. So what's your number 8 for the year?
Well, this was hard because there was a couple of honorable mentions that I'm going to bring up. But I'm not going to talk about...
You and the honorable mentions, but that's
honorable
okay.
mentions, Black Summer. If you love zombie flicks, Black Summer on Netflix. It refreshes the zombie genre from like Walking Dead. And then something I saw just recently, and I debated putting it in my top 8. It was Get Back, the Beatles documentary, 3-part series. We've talked a little bit about it last night. We were
Right, I haven't finished it, so I didn't feel it was fair to include it.
I almost included it, but I just wanted to give it an honorable mention. If you're a big Beatles fan, watch Get Back, okay?
We should have put some... Oh, wait, we do have Beatles stuff right here.
There we go.
It's always up somewhere.
All right, Get Back, Dane.
All right.
Because number 8 for me was...
we're still on here. Go ahead.
Yellowstone.
Oh, is that the... I don't know that one.
You don't know Yellowstone?
No. Is that got two female detectives? I think I've seen the trailers for it.
Well, if
right,
you're talking about 2 female detectives, you didn't see this trailer.
Wait, that's Jolansky and Wachowski or whatever it was.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yellowstone is Kevin Costner runs the largest ranch out of Montana.
I didn't know it was called Yellowstone. I know. I've seen the trailers.
So what happens is there's 4 seasons that are out. Season 4 came out this summer. And I wanted to watch it, so I signed up for Paramount Plus because it's a Paramount. But then I found out that they didn't put it on Paramount Plus. They want you to subscribe to something else. They want you to subscribe to 2 streaming services. So I went and bought them on DVD, seasons 1, 2, and 3, and I binged all 3 seasons. And it is so, so good.
But I don't get that. You had to subscribe to 2 different streaming services just to get access to it?
Yeah. Well, it's
getting out of hand. These streaming things are ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. So I did rent it. Now, I haven't seen season 4, which came out this summer. I'm waiting for it to come out on DVD so I can purchase it. But I can't wait. I can't wait to see season 4. Yellowstone is a great, great TV show.
Well, so we're on my number 7.
Number 7.
You're done with your 8.5 weeks.
Yes.
Mine is Emily in Paris.
Emily.
It's not a show you might not get into, but with my French background, I just thought a lot of people panned the show. It's about a woman.
Emily Blunt?
No, it's Lily Collins, the daughter of
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins, yeah. She's a hottie. And the character moves from Chicago to France and works in a marketing firm in France. So, in Paris specifically. It's just a great show, well written. They really got the nuances down between the Parisian French character and how they do business and other things that she doesn't even speak French when she gets there. I mean, it's just a big, like, how the heck could she even survive out there? But everyone in Paris speaks English. I mean, it's complete BS. They'll pretend they don't. But absolutely a great show, well written.
And is she, like, dating while she's out there?
Yeah, she'll end up dating, of course, because her Chicago guy. He's like, I can't come out and visit you. I've got the Cubs. Like, that is the lamest excuse I've ever seen, ever heard. Yeah. But characters, great. They, like I said, the scenes, the locations. They've just written a lot of like very interesting storyline, and it's Darren Star, the guy who did Sex and the City. So if you like Sex and the City,
so it's like a Sex and the City.
It's very similar to that. He also
did. Have a group of girlfriends that go out.
One girl.
Okay.
Yeah. But then it's very. If you guys watch Younger, another highly rated show, by the way. He also did that one. But they have a very similar feel, Sex and the City. Sex and the City tended to get more on the raunchy side, but great show. So what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Lost in Space. So I don't know if you watched this on Netflix. I watched
the first series.
First year was not that good. Well, it was
I
okay.
thought it was good.
It was setting it up, but what I really did not like was the take on Dr. Smith.
That they switched
compared to the old 60s version.
Right.
You know, that man was an old goofy man. This is a woman played by Parker Posey.
Parker Posey, yeah,
And
she's a great actress.
Like just villainous in this show. But she actually kind of turns in season 2 and was much better in season 3.
Right.
And by the way, this season 3 that just finished up here in the fall was the final season. So they've wrapped it up. But if you like sci-fi and you like Lost in Space,
I do. I will watch it.
You'll love Lost in
You've
Space.
sold me just 2 seasons?
Yeah, so there's 3 seasons.
There's 3
total.
seasons. Okay, I stopped after 2. I watched the first one with my son, and we just
Okay.
binged it when my wife went out of town. But yeah, we've been meaning to get into the season 2 and season 3. And I should say, by the way, going back a little bit, Emily in Paris just released season 2. Outstanding, also. That was our New Year's Eve closeout for the year. To watch that show.
Gotcha. So that my number 7.
Number 7
was Lost in Space. So that'll kick it off to you at number 6.
I got another French show called Lupin, which is French. Oh, French for wolf.
Is this animated?
No,
Okay.
It's a detective show. It's about it's very, unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with the subtitles. But it's another show set in Paris about a young guy who, obviously his last name's Lupin, but it's based on a series of books from the 1920s. So they brought it up to the present. But he was an orphan, and with his intellect and being able to figure things out, he's, a lot of these, he does crimes. But of course, it's a little bit of a Robin Hood.
Holmes?
No, it's more like he does like a Robin Hood-ish type thing.
Steals from the rich, gives to the poor.
Exactly. So he'll go in and he'll make these very, very elaborate. And so you as the audience don't exactly know what's happening yourself. It reveals as it goes along. So you think, oh, he's going to get caught. And then suddenly you find out, oh, wait, that was like the janitor he paid to show up as himself. Well, meanwhile, he's walking away with the jewels from
where would you
Versailles.
find this show?
Another one on Netflix.
Okay.
Season 2 came out, but highly recommend it. I
have Netflix. These shows that you've brought up never appear in my suggestions. I don't know why. Maybe because I don't dig that kind of stuff.
Well, that is the problem with Netflix, is
Yeah.
that once you kind of go down a certain path, it's like that's all it wants to show you.
Right.
And so unless you diverge and say, I want to go see like a French movie or something
Right.
like that, it won't show any of that. You really have to dig for that stuff. So I
Yeah.
highly recommend Lupin. And it's
Lupin.
Loupin, but it means wolf in French.
Latin.
But it was, like I said, it was based on a 1920s very popular series of books in France that was similar thing, but in that case, it was a white guy. This is a black guy. They changed the background with him being an orphan and all this other stuff. Lupin was originally a rich guy that would go out and plan these elaborate crimes, even though he didn't need the money, just
Right.
because he wanted to prove a point.
Gotcha.
So go ahead. What's your number
6?
6?
My number 6 is Cobra Kai. So
I have not gotten to that one yet.
They just released season 4 here on New Year's Eve, and believe it or not, I binged it, the 10 episodes in 2 days, to watch season 4. But season 3 came out earlier, like in January.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you love the Karate Kid, you love the 80s, this is such a great show. I look forward to seeing how can they extend this out further. And when I went into season 4, I thought, no way they're going to extend this out any further. Well, they found a way to make a season 5. So they left you on a cliffhanger. But really good. Love Cobra Kai.
Right.
For me, it's a lot of nostalgia. They're playing a lot of 80s music during it.
Right. Well, this is definitely on my list of things. It's just one of those where you said you got to watch the first 3 movies, right? Well, my brother told me
you
this.
do, because they bring back characters from all the movies.
Right.
And there's actually 4 movies. I'm wondering if they're going to bring back anybody from the next Karate Kid, which was the girl. Which, by the way,
I
was
forgot about that.
Hilary Swank, I think.
She was the actual Karate Kid? Or was she
the
like...
next Karate Kid? She was.
Oh, she must have been young then.
She was young.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay.
So, we'll see.
Well,
So we're off
highly
to
recommended.
number 5.
Number 5 for me is Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking
Yeah,
Dead.
I kind of, that show lost a little bit of its luster there. I kind of thought they were in this weird, repeating things loop, whereas they were trying to be different from The Walking Dead, obviously. And so they've played with, how they did different cinematography and how the storylines were written and how they specifically would, manipulate how episodes were done. With starting with, why is somebody in jail, and then he's, recounting himself, explaining things. But I thought this year they did a much better job with just kind of amping it up a little bit, like bringing the action back. No more of this like driving from place to place and talking about things. I mean, it's like they got just kind of. I don't think I've seen that part.
Oh, well, then you didn't watch this season of Fear the Walking
I'm
Dead.
catching up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm catching up. So I
gotcha.
didn't. So, but yeah, I assume that's what the key was for. By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just put 2 and 2 together
That's
on
what the
that,
key
but
was for.
I didn't know that. I just assumed that's what it was. But yeah, I'm in the midst of this particular season, but I just stopped watching it for a long time. You know, and I'm sure a lot of people did that with The Walking Dead when Rick disappeared. It was kind of like it went downhill.
It's a mess,
Yeah,
Walking
just
Dead.
a mess. So guys, come on, clean it up.
Was one of my
You're
favorite.
spreading yourself way too thin with all these shows.
Was one of my favorite shows of all time.
I know.
For about the first 5 seasons,
Yep,
and then it just.
exactly.
So.
I think it's because they're,
I
when
still watch.
when you spread the Walking Dead had so much like you were scared all the very first time, and then
you were, and how are they going to survive? What are they going to do?
right, and then one thing got amped up, and then the governor, and then everything just kept getting amped up and amped up.
It all went downhill after Negan was introduced. So.
Oh, you think it went down at Delta? You
Yeah.
don't think? Well, I guess they did yeah.
But
It was still entertaining. I think it was when Rick disappeared that all of a sudden they were like, uh-oh, what are we gonna do?
right.
But
Yeah.
Andrew Lincoln's coming back,
Yes.
so he just needed a break.
Yeah.
All right, so what are we on here for you, number 5?
Number 5. Have you seen this TV show, Billions?
No, other than I know what it's about, but
So it is an awesome TV show. It's on Showtime. Stars Damian Lewis, Paul Giamatti, and Maggie Siff. And it's about Damian Lewis owns like a capital firm in New York on
Okay.
Wall Street. Mm-hmm. And what they do is, they go out and make investments. People, pay to be part of those investments. But it's all about like corporate espionage. They're trying to find out what's going on with companies in the market.
right.
Get some insider trading so they can invest in them or dump their stock. Other firms, what are they doing? Who are they investing in? Mm-hmm. And they will go to any lengths to find out what they're doing. Meanwhile, you got Paul Giamatti, who's part of the district attorney.
So he's a good guy? Well, sort of.
He's the attorney general, and he wants to bring these guys down. But he will go to unscrupulous ways to get information on them. And
For some reason, I thought this took place in Britain, but it's in New York, right?
in New York on Wall Street.
Maybe there was some part I saw in a movie in a trailer, and I thought, oh, it's the UK.
no.
But
So, and just to let you know, if you decide to invest time to watch this, season 1 a little slow because they're setting everything up. There's 5 seasons to this. Season 6 comes out here in January 2022.
okay,
But season 2 through 5 get better and better and better and more like involved. And,
okay.
oh my gosh, some of the things that happen, it's just like unbelievable. So
Well, Paul Giamatti is such an amazing actor, and he brings so much energy to everything he does. But I mean, ever since Sideways, that was when I for lack of a better description, fell in love with him as an actor.
I think that
that
this
Sideways
role
character.
is his defining role.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Well, we'll have to put that on the docket. All right.
All right, number 4.
Number 4 for me is The Morning Show. So we've been talking about stuff that you'd have to stream or pay for something because we don't have Showtime, by the way. Right? You said Showtime for the band. So we would not be able to watch that unless I came over and watched it at your place. But in any case, their morning show, that's on HBO Max. It's the one with Reese Witherspoon and...
That was on Apple TV.
Yes, you're right. It's on Apple TV. It's all on the same system, so I get it mixed up. So yes, Apple TV, great show. Reese Witherspoon, what's her name from Friends? Jennifer Aniston, Billy Crudup. It's about basically all the politics and intrigue of the morning show wars. It was based on a book. And there's just, Steve Carell is also in it. But there's all these things that are very similar to the whole Matt Lauer, situation where sexual harassment and other things that were going on. But it's really well done show. And plus it's written in real time in the sense that right now they're dealing with the COVID epidemic just starting up
like
on the
current
show.
events.
Current events, not real time, but current events. So highly recommend it if you've got Apple TV, Apple Plus. But it's just finished season 1, and the next one's going to definitely come out. So, what's your number? What are we on? 4?
4, but yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'll hit you up. Go ahead and talk while I'm hitting you up.
All right. So the next show that I have at number 4 is kind of a cheeseball TV show, and it's the only show that I've watched on regular TV
Number 4.
in the last few years. I mean, it's been a long time since I watched something on the networks, and that is a show called La Brea.
I've heard of it, but I don't know anything
All
about
right.
it.
I saw the commercials for this, and it looked so cheeseball that I said, I've got to watch that. And I actually got caught up watching it. So what happens is, you know, the La Brea tar pits in
Right.
California, in
Yeah.
LA. Well, one day, life is going on, and all of a sudden there's an earthquake, and the La Brea tar pits open up, and like a bunch of people fall through into this huge, endless pit.
Okay.
What they don't realize is they fall through a time rift into LA at like 10,000 AD or something like that, 20,000
Okay.
AD.
So it is.
So there's like,
It's like a Land of the Lost.
it's like Land of the Lost. And like,
They redid it. They snuck it out
you know,
there
there's
though.
like, you know, saber-toothed tigers and mastodons walking around, you know what I mean? Pterodactyls flying in the sky.
Do they have those? What was the guy called? Like the people that they would hang out.
Sleestack.
The Sleestack.
No, there's no
I love
slick
that
stuff.
show. They didn't have to like joust the dinosaur, the T-Rex
Yeah.
in the mouth with the giant
They
logs.
would always have logs ready to joust the dinosaur out of the cage.
He's basically getting a COVID test or a
Yeah.
strep throat test every time.
And then the Sleestack, they would make that sound.
Very creepy for young
Very
kids.
creepy, very creepy.
But I mean, is there a people or something like that in
There
there?
is, but what happens, they find people that have also slid down other time rifts from like the Civil War, from
Okay.
like the 60s.
That is interesting.
Yeah, and so it's actually kind of interesting.
Okay.
So they just finished the first season, I don't know, maybe in like October.
I'm gonna put that on the list.
It's on NBC.
Okay.
So you got to wait for commercials and all that stuff,
Yeah.
which,
Well, we have TiVo. We don't have to do that.
you know, but, you know, I think I got my parents watching this too. So,
Okay. Well, cool.
yeah.
Looking forward to that
La
one.
Brea.
Because I'm always looking for a good sci-fi show, and when I saw the trailer for that, it was not what you're describing in the trailer or in the commercial. I
Yeah.
thought it was completely,
I don't
something
know
else.
how well it's doing in the ratings and how long it'll last, but
If we like it, it will probably get canceled.
yeah, probably so.
All right, so what are we on here? Number 3.
3.
So now, as I already said, Queen's Gambit is my number 3. Another top Netflix show about a young girl who is a child prodigy with chess, who never got taught. Well, it didn't go up through the normal ranking system. She was taught at an orphanage by a janitor that she kind of just fell in with. But there's a heavy drug undertone with it because she uses it to kind of fuel her mind. And it was
Release her mind.
Release her mind. Release her mind! Just like we're trying to do for all of our faithful viewers. All what? We're beyond 2 now.
Yeah.
What are we up to right now?
Like 117. So we're trying to get it up.
Oh, and on that note, we forgot to talk about subscribe.
Like and subscribe. We'll put that up at the beginning.
We need some subscriptions. Please do.
Yeah.
It's free. There's no obligation. No emails. No, you're not.
I think in the next episode, let's talk about subscriptions and what that means. Because we've heard a lot of crazy things, but we'll get to that in the next episode.
All right. So,
back
yeah,
to
Queen's Gambit, it was based on a book from like 1979 that was floating around for a long time because the book is kind of dealing with the hallucinations that she kind of does that you see pretty well, where she's kind of like looking at the chess scenes on the ceiling. But absolutely a great show. That it was like the first time that actress, I can't remember her full name, it's like one of those 3 names. You're seeing her in like one of the top horror movies this
Last
year.
night in Soho.
Yeah.
She's in
and
that.
so I can't remember her name, but great movie, TV show on Netflix, especially if you like chess. But
So that might have been my number 1 show, but that came out October 2020, and I watched it over the holidays last year in 2020.
oh, okay.
So I didn't see it in 2021, but that show is awesome. I was just
Yeah,
saying
we
that.
watched it in 2021. So, yep.
So
Yep.
and that's all what it's about. What did you see this
right,
year?
right.
All right, so number 3 for me, I'm gonna put Hawkeye, because of all of the Marvel movies or shows that came out in 2021, WandaVision, Loki, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and What If? They were all good, but to me, Hawkeye was the best.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that
And
one.
it was just a fun series. Only 6 episodes. Darn it, I wanted more. But it was Christmas time, and I so thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's funny. It's got action. Got a lot of,
A lot of tongue-in-cheek, kind of making fun of themselves,
Lot of
type of like
fan-
the Avenger
Yeah.
Broadway theater
yeah,
event.
a lot of
The Avengers!
a lot of
Captain
fan-
America!
and like
Show me your shield!
exactly.
Something
It was
like that.
it was really good. It was really good. So I
Very
really
entertaining.
enjoyed Hawkeye, and that was my third favorite show of 2021.
All right.
So what's up for number 2 for you?
Number 2 for me is Bridgerton.
Oh boy. Pretentious British.
But you know what's so funny about that show is I would agree with you normally, but the way that they cleverly did all this other stuff, like anytime you heard like, this takes place in the royal court, so this was like in the early 1800s or something like that. But they, every time they were like, they'd have little bands, and these were bands from back then. So there was like what you'd call classical music. They would have them play like current songs. And it was very subtle. Like all of a sudden you'd hear like a heavy metal song. You'd recognize it suddenly, kind of like what they did in Jungle Book when Metallica was on the ukulele.
Cruise.
Or Jungle Cruise, yeah. And so, but you wouldn't pick up at it first because they very subtly like led into it, and all of a sudden you were realizing, oh wait, that's In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins or something like that. It was just these very like
Did you ever
odd.
see the movie Moulin Rouge?
Yes.
Remember, like they were like dancing to like Nirvana. And
Yes.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Similar situation,
That's what I was
but
gonna ask. Like, is
Yeah.
it like that?
it is sort of like that, but more like formal royal court dancing to that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But the thing that they really did on that show, which they kind of snuck in, is the huge amount of sex that happens, and it's not. I'm not saying
sneaking that
explicit.
in. That's right. First of all, I have not seen Bridgerton, so I don't know.
Right.
But
Well, if anyone's watched Bridgerton, I don't want to like give anything away, but you know what I'm talking about because there was a lot of scenes you're like, really? They're showing this for this kind of series?
I just want to ask our viewers: are there any other guys that have watched Bridgerton? If so, put that down because I saw the commercials and said, "Oh, not for me."
Yeah. It got kind of like a different
But
hype.
you're married, and your wife might have just pulled you and said, "Damn."
Right.
But I think you like. I'm sure you like that.
I
too.
like that kind of old French royalty. You know,
was
I'm a
British,
big,
though.
yeah, this one was British. Well, there's always some French people that
Yeah.
show up. Some people that show up. But, it was very entertaining, well written. It's the same woman who wrote Grey's Anatomy, and so you can't argue with that. I mean, that show's been on, what are they on, like 15 seasons?
And I've never watched one.
Yeah, yeah.
We
We kept going up to like season 8, and then we stopped. But going to come out with a season 2 here pretty soon. But one of the main characters isn't returning, who was also up for being James Bond, by the way. The Regé
Yeah.
Paris. What was his last name?
remember.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
though. The guy.
We talked about it in
yeah.
our
Right.
James Bond episode, but
Right. So
All right, so we're up
Bridgerton,
to
number
number
2
2.
for me in 2021, by the way. So go ahead.
all right. For me, my number 2 is the only animated one on here, and it's called Invincible. Oh my gosh. So this is a comic that was written by Robert Kirkman, and he is the same author of the Walking Dead comic. So when this came out, I had no idea. I didn't read this comic. I had no idea what this was about. But I heard people talking about, oh my gosh, you gotta see Invincible. Gotta see Invincible. So I watched, and in episode 1, you are watching and you are thinking, this is going on the same plane as every normal
As
hero.
Spider-Man teenager.
Spider-Man teenager, Superman growing up. You think it's on that same plane, and then bam, they hit you with something that happens. And I will not give it away because you've got to go see it. It takes a complete 180 of your typical hero shows.
Yeah.
And remember, I called you up
Oh, yeah.
and I said, Dane, you have got to watch this.
Right.
And you were probably going in.
I know. I figured it was going to be like another like teen, because they market it totally as a teenager,
Well, I
like
think
growing
they-
up, coming of age
I think
type
they
of thing.
want everybody to get the shock value
Right.
of what this is.
Plus, the comic book kind of looks on the simplistic side
Very
too. It looks more
simplistic,
like
yeah.
it's written for 8-year-olds.
Yeah, so we've gone back and visited the comics after seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so good and so interesting. And as you're watching episode after episode, you're trying to figure out, why is this going on? Why is this one person doing this, right? And,
Yes.
and I don't want to get into spoilers, but you are wondering the whole time,
Right.
what is going on?
It's a big
And
mystery.
Why is this different?
Right.
And it is so good. It was an awesome, awesome TV show.
Yep.
So I can't wait for season 2 to come out. But I think Invincible came out in around May of 2021.
I think so. Summertime. And honestly, I didn't even think of cartoon type anime things. So
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. That was a really big surprise. Great, well written. The storylines, even though they seem simplistic, really had a lot of subtext hidden in everything, and the writing was outstanding. So you got to give it to Kirkman.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy is a god in regards to coming out with stuff.
Oh my gosh, that was
Walking Dead and
Walking
Invincible, and I know he's got a lot of other things, but those two.
Yeah, he does have other things, but this was amazing. This was an amazing TV viewing experience, because when something happens you totally do not expect, and you are left with the episode ending and you're like, what did I just watch?
Yes.
That was crazy.
Got to wipe myself off here a little bit after watching that episode.
Invincible, if you have not seen it, it is on, I think this is on Prime.
Yes, it's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, yeah.
It's funny how all the subscription services are coming out with the best shows. I mean, you had NBC's on there, La Brea, but
Yeah, I know. And I said,
that's the only one I think that we've done of normal TV.
I have not watched a scripted TV show from ABC, CBS, NBC, or Fox in like years.
Right, and then the dumb thing is that those shows, those main channels, the stuff that we would probably get into, like the new Star Trek, they put it on the streaming service, and it's like, well, I'm not going to pay, for specifically that. I need at least 2 things.
Yeah. Well, and that's why why I didn't go to Paramount Plus.
Right.
Because Paramount Plus said, "Hey, we've got the new Star Trek." And I'm like, "Oh, I want to watch the new Star Trek."
Right.
And then Paramount Plus has Yellowstone, but then they decided.
Well, that's 2 good reasons right there.
They decided to keep them separate, so you have to get Paramount Plus to watch Star Trek.
And there's like plus.
And then there's Paramount streaming for Yellowstone. And then
What
they have
the
other
heck
stuff,
are they doing?
They have other stuff coming out on a third streaming channel called the Peacock. They don't combine all those together.
That is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. So.
And then they're going to come out with what? Paramount After Dark, and they're going to have all their R-rated stuff on there. I mean.
Speaking of After Dark,
I know.
I saw an episode of Playboy After Dark on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever watched those?
Yeah.
And welcome. I'm Hugh Hefner, your host. We're glad you're here, too. You've met Anthony Newley, I think, and most of the gang. Sammy Davis is here.
He's not.
He is? How come with all these ladies here?
Why am I
want
talking
them
to you on
together.
this?
What is this?
No, wait. I just wanted to ask Sam, since you're one of our great singers of our times, would you sing a song for Robert Culp and his wife? We prefer to hear Because.
Got to talk about those some other time. They're
We're going to do a
amazing.
review of those and how
Oh,
ridiculous they
yeah.
are.
They're awesomely cheesy, but they're so good at the same time.
Right.
But, all right. So we're up to number 1.
Number one.
Let's celebrate.
You're knocking everything
number
off the
one.
table.
TV shows we saw in
Get
2021.
off, Darth Vader. My number 1 TV show in 2021 is Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
That's another pay for Apple Plus. So we had 2 shows on there, if you remember it. The Morning Show and Ted Lasso. You haven't watched it, obviously, but an absolutely fantastic show. I mean, there's humor. I mean, there's lots of times where I'm actually tearing up in some stuff. There's so much emotional pull in a lot of ways because of the way they've integrated him into, like, originally I thought this was an American football sports channel or something along those lines.
Well, he's an American football coach.
Right, but I thought it was all taking place in America. No, the first episode he's going out to UK, and the premise is that he's a football coach who's brought his Division, I think, 3 team, and they won the championship for the first time. So the owner of a premier soccer league, football in Britain, decided to bring him out and coach a team that has been lackluster and failing for many years.
And he doesn't know anything about soccer.
Doesn't know anything about soccer. but it's just so well written. And what I thought was done very well was how they highlight the big differences between Americans and British people. You know, and the culture, the swearing alone, it's like, oh my God, there's no way.
Netflix. What is this stream?
It's on Apple Plus.
Apple Plus. Okay.
So it's another Apple Plus one, but it is. I mean, so if anyone just watched the show, just get ready because the Brits have a much different view of cursing in common language, and there's stuff where like you've got kids dropping the F-bomb. And it's like in America, this would never be made. But over there, because it's done with like tongue-in-cheek humor and there's a character to build and all this, it was just such a well-done TV series. And I, introduced my brother-in-law, Scott, to who's a big sports guy. And he
loved... Lords fan?
I believe he is.
The way you're naming him like Scott.
Scott, you better be a Cult Lords fan. Press the button that says subscribe on YouTube.
Yep.
But he loved the series too, just because it has a lot of like sports type stuff, especially if you like soccer, because you watch Brazilian soccer.
Yep.
Then you would love the show because they do just enough pull in like sports type stuff, showing live episodes and everything.
I watch English Premier Soccer.
Oh well, then
I'm a Manchester United
fan. Another thing is you learn things which I didn't know, and it highlights a lot of the weirdness between the European games and the American. You can do ties, obviously, that was generally known. But the other thing I didn't know is that there's the different leagues, and if you fail enough in the top one, you get relegated. Well, that's a huge thing in the first season because this team is a Premier League. So you'll love that show. So but Ted Lasso, highly recommend.
Before I get to my number one, can you just recap your top 8? I want to see something real quick. What was number 8?
Broadchurch.
Never heard of it, never watched it for me. Okay, what was number 7?
Emily in Paris.
Never watched this. Okay. What was number 6?
Lupin.
Never seen this show. Okay, what was number 5?
Well, the other one for sure you've never seen. Fear the Walking Dead.
Okay, I have watched that one. So, okay. What was
the
number
next
4?
one, The Morning Show.
Never watched this show.
Queen's Gambit.
I did watch that show.
You watched that show.
That.
Bridgerton.
Never watched this show.
And Ted Lasso.
Okay, so out of your top 8, I've only seen 2.
Right. Well, you read yours, though, and I bet I haven't read it. Go ahead.
After I read my first one, we'll recap mine. And see
Okay.
So, my number 1 of 2020, Squid Games.
Squid Games. It's on the list, but I have not watched it yet.
Well, my brother who always watches the show. And
yes.
He kept calling me and texting me. And yes, for my brother.
For your brother.
Yep.
Stop talking and start drinking.
Stop talking and start drinking. That's what he wants me to do. So anyways, he kept texting me, have you seen Squid Games? Have you seen Squid Games? And I kept seeing chatter on YouTube and social media. Mm-hmm. But I was like, man, I don't want to watch a Korean movie or show with subtitles and stuff like that.
Korean movies.
And you know what? I don't mind subtitles once I'm into it, but a whole series of it.
Uh-huh.
So he finally said, oh, they don't have subtitles. They dub it. I said, all right, I'm going to watch one episode.
Just turn it up really loud and then
see what I think. I was hooked after the first episode. And after But
let me ask a question before, just to interrupt you there. So, I've never actually watched it.
Yes.
But I've seen trailers for it.
Yes.
Do the trailers actually show what the show is really about? Because to me, it seems like the trailers don't show what you're describing.
So what do you think? You've seen the trailers. What do you think the show's about?
Well, I mean, it looks like it's an apocalyptic thing where people are all lining up to obviously play in some kind of games, and if they lose, they get killed. I mean,
there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
But it's not apocalyptic.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was, and then it was.
But people have to play in some games, and you'll see why. And the consequences are dying.
Pictionary, and maybe
you'd be surprised at how easy these games are.
Oh, are they? Okay.
And but there's a lot of heart to it, and a lot of emotion that's built up. And it goes for 9 episodes. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, if you invest in the first 5 episodes, episode 6 will have you crying.
Okay.
And you will cry.
Is it super violent? Or is it off-camera violence?
There's violence. I won't say super violent. There's violence.
Is it high drama the whole time?
No. There's actually some humor. There's a lot of emotion.
So it sounds like Sopranos, because I mean that's the thing with a lot of people wouldn't want to watch Sopranos off the top, because you think it's just blood and guts and people getting killed all the time. But that's only like one little part of it. So it sounds like that's what you're describing.
There is blood and guts in this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie.
Right. But that's one small part of a much bigger picture.
There's a much bigger picture of what's
Right.
going on.
Okay.
And a big commentary on society as a whole. And for lots of reasons.
We like our commentary on society.
We do. And it really was something that when that show finished, like I was thinking about this for a couple of weeks and thinking about the Squid Games and thinking about, so they're going to come out with a Squid Games 2, which I kind of wish they weren't. I wish it just ended right there.
Like the Matrix?
Because it was so good. I can't see.
Can we get the Squid Games to get more subscribers, by the way? Can we work that in? Can you?
I don't know. I don't see how you can get better than season 1.
Okay.
So I almost wish they wouldn't even try.
Right.
But, hey, maybe they can surprise me because sometimes, there is more to have.
Well,
So
the Koreans did a great job with Parasite, too, which you
Yeah.
probably didn't see it.
No, I
but
haven't
that
seen
was
Parasite.
2020, so. But anyways, we're diverging.
yeah,
So you
Squid
finished your
Games
number
is on
1.
Netflix. Go watch it. Don't worry, no subtitles. And you will feel for the characters. So, Dane, let me recap my top 8 for you and
all right.
see what you see. Okay. Number 8, Yellowstone.
Have not seen it.
Have not seen it. Number 7, Lost in Space.
Seen that.
Number 6, Cobra Kai.
Have not seen it.
Number 5, Billions.
Have not seen it.
Number 4, La Brea.
Have not seen it.
Number 3, Hawkeye.
Seen it.
Number 2, Invincible.
Seen it.
And then number 1, Squid Games.
Have not seen it.
Okay, so out of my top 8, there's 5 that you haven't seen.
Right.
So that shows we're watching a lot of diverse TV.
Right. And then in mine, let's see. Broadchurch, Emily in Paris, Lupin, The
2
Morning
I've seen.
Show. You've seen 2 out of mine. So that's a pretty interesting, that we're watching 2 kind of different sides of the
And then I brought up
cinema landscape here.
and then I brought up in an honorable mention Black Summer. You haven't seen, right?
No, I haven't seen that.
You like Fear of the Walking Dead?
Uh-huh.
You like Walking Dead? There's nothing scarier of those 2 than Black Summer.
And what's the premise of Black Summer?
Black Summer, there's a zombie
Well,
outbreak.
besides that.
But here's the difference between Black Summer and those. In Black Summer, the zombies can run full speed.
Okay, so it's like 28 days later?
It is a little bit
Like that.
So if you ever watch, there was a TV show, Z Nation.
Yeah, I started watching
Which
and
was
I gave
cheesy
up.
and campy.
Yeah.
Well, this is supposed to be an offshoot of that without the cheese factor.
Oh, well then I'm interested because that was why I stopped that
Yeah.
show because
Yeah.
I thought I don't have time for this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just jokey.
In Z Nation, there was a scene that is so hilarious. It's called the Zombie Lincolns, and apparently there was a Abraham Lincoln reenactment group going on when the zombie outbreak hit, and they were all dressed up as Abraham Lincolns. So like they were on a bus, they opened up the bus, and all these zombie Abraham Lincolns come running at them. It was a hilarious scene.
That is ridiculous.
But when you watch that, then you're like, this is total cheese factor,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Black Summer has no cheese.
All right, cool.
All scare.
I like my serious drama
Pure horror.
because what are we reviewing in the next few weeks? Pure drama and horror.
Oh yeah, Mandy.
Mandy!
That's coming up soon.
So, stay tuned.
2021 season or episode
22.
or season 2
2022.
and season 2.
Yes, season 2. We are now entering season 2 phase after this year roundup
Yeah.
finishes. So
Thank
you,
hope
everybody.
You enjoyed our top 8 TV shows. Tell us what your top 8 TV shows were for 2021.
Yep.
Tell us if there's anything that we missed that we should watch. There was a lot of shows that I kept off.
I know. There's a
you
lot
did
of
too.
stuff that we both either watched or felt like, I kept off some things from yours because we both watched some of ours, but then you didn't mention some of mine, and it was like, so it's interesting. There's just so much out there right now.
I mean, like
You can't keep up.
Book of Boba Fett started.
Yes.
But that
which
was only-
technically you could count.
You technically can count, but only one episode.
Right.
So I decided not to count.
I was thinking of throwing The Mandalorian, but I'm like, 2020!
Yeah, 2020.
It ended
so-
December 18th, 2020.
Right, exactly. So tell us what was on your top 8 list, and we want to hear what your comments are. And once
Please
again,
comment. Please subscribe.
And welcome to 2022.
Welcome to 2022.